Hello and welcome back to another scrim with our UNF main league team. Today it'll be against Nebraska Esports, and we are back here with me, Lilu, and our other co-host, Finn. Finn? I guess he's not here.
Sorry,
Currently
I
we are.
accidentally muted myself.
Oh, you're totally
My
fine.
my apologies.
Yeah, currently we are waiting for both the teams to start the draft. Oh no, I was on the wrong tab, like a very intelligent person. UNF already banned out Garen, and Nebraska responded with a Volleybear ban. And UNF is now also banning Jinx in the bot lane. Nebraska getting a double ban on UNF's jungle with also banning Kindred. Really worried about what Michael's gonna pull out this today.
And UNF finishes their ban phase with an Aurora ban. Nebraska finishes theirs with a Galio ban. And UNF picks Syndra. It's a pick we haven't seen a whole lot of from
Oh.
UNF, but I'm excited to have it grace my eyes. I know it's something that Tyler talked about choosing a little bit as sort of a substitute for the Oriana, just as a something to try out, not necessarily something he's confident in, but I think we're going to see him try it out this game. A very interesting first pick from UNF for sure, picking the mid laner, not always something you see coming out. And the mid laner for Nebraska is an extremely competent player. Um, assuming it is Hagoromo in the mid lane. And we do see the Talia come out from Hagoromo. He's been playing it a little bit recently. I'm not surprised to have it come up here. Um, I think it's more of a comfortable pick just because obviously there aren't any there's not a lot of mobility on the side of UNF right now, so it's not necessarily a counter pick, but it's just something Hagoromo is able to play for himself comfortably into Syndra.
Team Nebraska taking a while here, but ending up picking the J4, which is a really strong pick with the Talia. I can see what they're trying to go for here with really strong like team fights to kind of isolate people and get picks. And it is a bit of a steal pick as well, since Michael does play J4 as well for Team UNF. We haven't really been seeing it much lately, though, since they've been focusing on very specific team comps they've got in mind. So I doubt it's much of an issue for UNF.
And we see the Ezreal come out on the side of UNF. Obviously, we're going to be going for a little bit more of a pokey pick comp here. Um, and Ezreal is quite good at that. It's his main dealio. Now, today for Team UNF, we've previously seen an amazing ADC in the form of Nom, but today we are back to the Caitlyn ADC, or so I've been told. We are back to Caitlyn ADC with Nick on support, and we have Chris substituting in top lane. Um, battle tag Big Sheesh. Or I guess Riot ID. Battle tag is a Overwatch thing. My bad. This I don't think this is going to be a permanent change. I do think that Nam is just stepping out for this one scrim. Might be busy with something. I haven't been informed on what that is, but I wouldn't expect this to be a staying thing. But I do think that Big Sheesh Chris is a competent enough player. Originally, when Team UNF accepted Nick onto their roster, Chris was one of the people who tried out for the spot, just barely didn't make it. And that back once again to show his mettle, I suppose, as a substitute. We see Varus picked for Nebraska Esports, and we do see a Seraphine ban come out. Don't know exactly why they're banning the Seraphine. I guess they're expecting the Poppy to be top lane. We did see UNF hover the Seraphine initially, but they did switch back to Poppy, and it might have been a sort of bait play just because Caitlyn is so well known for her Seraphine. Um, but it's definitely an interesting ban to come out here. That does mean Nebraska expects this Poppy to be top. More, or maybe they expect this Poppy to be in the jungle, which is something that's possible. I've seen Mike Beeston play Poppy once or twice. It's not something I see him run a lot. I would expect this to be in the support lane, but I guess we'll find out pretty shortly here. And we do see Bard Cassante come out as the bans from UNF. Bard is a character that is just a little bit difficult to deal with. I think his unorthodox playstyle is just something that UNF doesn't want to necessarily play around. And Bufos Bofunkel, support for Nebraska Esports, does play Bard quite a bit. I think it's the character that he plays most to the most success with. And we will see Bufos on a Karma here. Karma Varus bot lane. Very pokey bot lane from Nebraska. Just kind of surprising with the Jarvan, honestly.
You had a very strong bot lane when they end up scaling. And UNF locks in the Malphite in the top lane, solidifying what we understand, which is that we doubted the Poppy would be top in the first place. So it seems like Nebraska made the right call in doubting the same thing and banning out that Ornn. Oh, and we see UNF lock in Elise jungle. This is a bit of a newer pick for me. I haven't seen UNF play Elise as often as a lot of other junglers.
I don't think I have ever seen a UNF play the Elise jungle. And it is still technically possible we see the Poppy jungle Elise support. I don't think I've ever seen it. Nick play Elise. I don't know if I've seen Nick play Jace. I don't know if I think Elise is a very complex character to pick up for the first time. So we're probably going to see Nick on the Poppy here and then Mike Beeston on the Elise. And to finish it off, we have the Mordekaiser for Team Nebraska as a comfortable counter to the Malphite. The Malphite is a really interesting pick to me, just because Nebraska only had 280 characters when it was picked. I guess UNF just isn't expecting the Talia or the Karma, mainly the Talia, I suppose, to be a big issue. I think Mordekaiser is a pretty solid pick for Nebraska Esports. But the AP top laner just is able to deal with the Malphite super well. I think Team UNF has two tanks on their team between the Poppy and the Malphite, and Nebraska has done a pretty solid job of splitting up their AD and AP. Mordekaiser also is a character that recently was allowed to start building AD. I don't think we'll see it this game, but it is something that they have available to them if they do get worried about their split.
Yeah, I think this game we're going to be seeing really strong bot side plays coming from both teams. Like the junglers just focusing on the bot lane, because that Mordekaiser Malphite match up top is also just very, very high sustain. Very, they just kind of poking each other a little bit and probably not going anywhere. They're both big, beefy champs that are kind of slow in melee, and I think top lane will truly be an island this game with this matchup. So I think we should be expecting a lot of action in the bot lane, especially with strong long range champs like Ezreal, Varus, and Karma. It'll be easy to make something happen with the type of CC we're seeing on both sides, actually.
in the end, neither Team UNF nor Nebraska Esports has a very significant amount of dashes on their team. We'll see how useful this Poppy and the Celia are this game with their anti-dash abilities. I think that the Poppy certainly has an opportunity with the Jarvan here to make something notable happen. And I do think Nick has the skill to do that, so we'll find out. I think Poppy is honestly a really great pick to protect this Ezreal, but I feel like Ezreal is a champion that doesn't need as much protecting as most other ADCs. I think Poppy also has pretty solid roams with how fast she's able to move around the map, so we could be seeing this pick as a sort of roaming support. We'll find out here in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm expecting the Karma to do a bit more roaming than usual, since you don't have to be like strictly enchanter with her. You could be a bit more magey, build things like malignance. So she's pretty strong on her own in a way Poppy is too. So she's got a lot of roam pressure as well, which will make for an interesting game. I've noticed that games tend to be more interesting if the supports roam like crazy. It allows for a lot of interesting plays with ganks mid and seeing better plays with the vision just helps set up team fights in a way that I think they unfold in a more interesting way.
I get what you're saying. I'm also really excited to see what is going to be going down in this mid lane. I feel like Syndra is a character that really likes to sort of sit back and let things happen and then react to those things. And I think Talia is a character that likes to try and make things happen herself. Obviously, she's quite strong in a sort of receiving defensive position, but I think she has more offensive pressure than the Syndra does. And I will be excited to see how this lane goes, especially because the mid laner for Nebraska Esports, Hagoromo Chalk, is so expected to be good at the game. I guess we'll see for sure. Ranked is obviously quite different from this more organized play, but it does mean his mechanics are quite acceptable.
Yeah, and with the comp they have, it doesn't look like they're specifically going for like one person on their team as the carry they're gonna feed. It looks like they're going for a general like really strong team fight ability where really anybody could be getting kills and it's incredibly valuable. Like Talia, Varus, Jarvan, all these people could be getting kills and they all have incredibly high utility and no one person is gonna be carrying. So even with the mid laners with really high skill, I think that they're putting their money across all their teammates instead of just him.
And here we go. We are now getting into the actual game. Just a step closer, I guess. As always, I'm excited to see what skins the players are rocking. Hopefully nobody disappoints with a crummy, brokey base skin. And the mid lane no money matchup. That's okay. It's okay. We like to see them matching in solidarity. Now, I don't expect this very early game to be too exciting. I think we could see a Nebraska Esports potentially go for a ward, but I expect UNF to be 5-pointing. And actually, UNF is also seeming to look for a ward here. They want to get a ward by the Raptors, but I don't think that Nebraska is really going to let them do that.
Sorry guys, my source is cropped weird, so let me fix that for you guys. I'm so sorry.
Nebraska does manage to get a ward down on Team UNF's Raptors, and UNF does not have one to replicate. Actually, they're shoving in now. Both teams have vision of the Raptor camp. Both teams will know at least approximately where their opponent's junglers started their career. Both junglers are clearing downwards. We should expect to see some 3-man action in the bot lane in about 2 minutes. I think one of the main strengths of Taliyah over the Syndra here is that Taliyah just has such a strong ability to roam and be more present around the map than the Syndra does. And I think we're going to see that be super noticeable even in this early game. We see Hagoromo clearing the wave just faster than Jack Frost, just getting priority before he even needs it. And we are seeing the top laner for Nebraska look for something in the jungle of Team UNF. It's a little late. Obviously, the blue buff has already been cleared, but it's an incredibly aggressive play, and seeing it immediately in this first game makes me think we're going to be seeing it in the next couple of games as well. UNF's bot lane looks like they're going to get the wave crashed on their tower. So the wave will be pushing out towards Team Nebraska here when both junglers are on the bot side of the map. A little bit more favorable for Team Nebraska. And Mike Beeston is looking for a gank. The mid lane flashes towards the Taliyah and does get first blood on Hagoromo Chalk.
Yeah, unfortunately, Michael did have to use Flash there since he did miss the stun on the Taliyah. Taliyah did a good job of reacting to that and dodging it. But nonetheless, they did secure that first blood, which is strong considering how big this Taliyah is probably going to be. So this early gold is going to be very helpful for Elise and Syndra to just get a little bit of ahead and potentially turn this into a snowball.
Additionally, Taliyah did flash for that gank there. So the Syndra managed to keep her flash. I expect to see something happen around level 6 in that lane.
Yeah, and
We'll
Taliyah also
meets my
TP'd back to lane,
expectations.
so she is just down both sums.
We see Chetakatha Jarvan for Team Nebraska going for an invade already on Team UNF. Usually I like to see the junglers go for a full clear and then take a recall just to get on their next clear as fast as possible, but this is a really interesting choice, and it sets his team up pretty nicely. He's in a good spot to dive the bot lane of Team UNF. It looks like there won't be great opportunity to do so, so we do see Chet the Cat opt to back, but it already looks like Nebraska Esports is doing a great job of setting themselves up for plays. Between Wolf looking in the top side jungle of Team UNF and Chet the Cat lurking around the bot side. Even Hagoromo just now put a ward on Team UNF's Raptors. There is a lot of preparation and setup and thought going into the plays of Team Nebraska here. Now, because Chet did, first of all, clear one of UNF's camps and delay his clear, he will be clearing downwards a little bit slower than the jungler for Team UNF. Not that it matters necessarily, since both of the bot laners, or I guess all 4 of the bot laners, are taking this opportunity to recall. Nebraska Esports does have slightly better tempo in the bot lane, that you were able to recall faster, and we do see Nufha heading mid. You won't find anything as the Syndra's recalling. Oh, Jack Frost does elect to cancel his recall. The first Drake has spawned, And Mike Beastum is getting caught out right now. He does not have his flash because he used it on the Talia earlier. And the Weaver's Wall comes out, blocking off his escape. A clean kill for Nebraska East. And it does look like this kill will turn into the first Drake taken for Nebraska. Or at least Nebraska's jungler is beginning to work on it. It looks like Michael does have the opportunity to get there, but UNF elects to give this Drake.
Yeah, and given Talia's mobility and how bot lane's looking, it might be a better idea to let them take this first Drake. It's only the first Drake, and I think trying to run it down and potentially just giving them more kills isn't the best trade-off. You can always regroup and try again on the next Drake. What I want to point out earlier that is a bit tragic for the long run is in top lane, Mordekaiser's doing a great job of kind of suffocating the Malphite in terms of his farm. It looks like he's doing a good job of consistently putting the Malphite a bit more behind. So even if he's not directly winning lane against that Malphite, he is going to be coming out more scaled when we get out of laning phase and into the mid phase of the game, which might be a struggle for UNF. But Malphite's main use is in his utility, in his R, so it might not be the worst thing.
I was actually just thinking about the top lane as well, and Nebraska Esports does have quite a bit of a gold lead, and I think most of that is in the top lane. At this point, both of the junglers are in their opponent's reds, just looking to clear whatever they can. Mike Beastum quite a bit more successful. I think Chet did not find a camp available to him, maybe only took one. Mike Beastum was able to secure both the Krugs and the Raptors without necessarily getting seen. And UNF is now looking for a grub take. Once again, Hagoromo does have a priority in the mid lane, and the Mordekaiser has priority in the top lane, so UNF can't exactly start looking for these grubs right now. There's also vision on it on the side of Nebraska Esports. This game is really looking at quite difficult for UNF here. I think Nebraska is doing, as I already mentioned, a really great job of being aware and being present around the map. Their jungler had recalled, but there wasn't any threat of UNF taking these grubs, just because of how well the laners are covering them. I really appreciate seeing this kind of play come in.
Yeah, and I do think the main reason why Nebraska's ahead in that way is, like we were saying, the mobility from Talia is just outclassing the Syndra's mobility, and top lane constantly having prio makes it really easy to just get vision, get objectives in the top lane there.
Elise is a character that is quite strong in the early game, and sort of comes down to a more reasonable level in the mid game, and then was once again quite strong in the late game. But I would say her strongest point is the early game, and we are sort of shifting out of the early game. I'd say pre-level 6 is where she's strongest. And we're not quite there. We do see a flash in by Mike Beastum and a responsive flash out by Kelpo, the jungler of Nebraska Esports, or rather the ADC of Nebraska Esports. A successful gank in the bot lane. Kelpo does end up going down at the hands of Mike Beastum, I think. No. Nick on the pocket.
Yeah, and that was after forcing all the sums as well. They got both of Varus's summoners, and he still didn't get out, leaving him at a severe disadvantage in the next team fight, where he'll have nothing to use.
The next big objective is a Hextech Drake spawning in about 40 seconds. We do see uh, more vision on the side of UNF here in the bot side river. I think the wards that Nebraska Esports has are about to tick out. They're not going to be around at the time of the Drake spawning. And I think that's a sign of UNF sort of getting more comfortable in this match. I think I don't think they necessarily warmed up a whole lot before the scrim, so this is them sort of getting their footing, or symbolic of them getting their footing, at least. Nick does spot Chet the Cat lurking around the Drake pit, and UNF is aware that Nebraska Esports is looking for this Drake. Mike Beeston is a little bit behind. Amber Dragon is a little bit behind, sort of cut off by the bot lane of Nebraska Esports here. And yeah, it's just kind of a disaster for Team UNF. A fantastic Cataclysm by Chet the Cat catches out Tyler Frost and then Mike Beeston. And we also see Nick going down the bot lane, and all of a sudden it's just cascaded. Team UNF is significantly behind at this point, a little over 5,000 gold in the hole. Wolf, in the meantime, while the fight was happening, managed to kill Big Sheesh and set himself up to take the tower. Feats on the side of Nebraska Esports here. Just an absolute disaster. Now, Mike Beeston is looking for Wolf here. He hasn't gotten, the Mordekaiser hasn't gotten the chance to back to recall and spend all the gold he just earned from the kill and tower take, but it looks like there's not going to be an opportunity to kill him. Team UNF is just too scared of this Mordekaiser, and honestly, probably rightfully so. He's incredibly strong right now, and he's about to get even stronger.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was having no problem doing plenty of damage to that Malphite, even with the fact that he hadn't gone back and bought items with the gold that he has. So Mordekaiser's doing a great job in the top lane, and I think it's gonna be a constant pressure throughout the whole game. Always split pushing, always having just a big presence when he does decide to show up.
Now, one thing I think is really quite fascinating is this Malphite built Sunfire Aegis into the Mordekaiser. Really makes me think that Big Sheesh doesn't play a lot of Malphite, doesn't really know what he's doing on this character. Maybe doesn't play tanks in the top lane at all. It's really just a baffling item to build. I think that's probably part of the reason why he was struggling so much in lane. He has a useless item on him right now. And it's really showing in how much damage he's taking from these Mordekaiser obliterates. Wolf just cleans him up under tower and will be recalling. Both top laners did TP bot for that little scuffle that was going on. And unsurprisingly, Nebraska Esports walk away better off from that fight.
I think what they were going for with putting Sunfire Aegis on Malphite was more so considering him into the entire team rather than his matchup with Mordekaiser. I think they were more so just going, yeah, you're already losing lane. Let's just build this item that's really good for the rest of the team, and you just keep losing lane. Just scale, get the item, it's fine. Because I could see Sunfire being good into like what we just saw when he's going into the bot lane, into the Varus, into the Karma, and trying to help with a gank like that. I don't even know who would handle this Mordekaiser.
My issue is that I don't think the Sunfire is good enough to build and to sacrifice your laning phase for so strongly. Obviously, Malphite is already not an extremely great character in a Mordekaiser. I was really surprised to see the Malphite chosen before the Mordekaiser. I think it was not necessarily a mistake, but it was a mistake to draft that way. I don't think it was a very well done draft. Just if you knew that Wolf played this Mordekaiser, which Team UNF absolutely should have known. Normally they do quite an excellent job at scouting their opponents out. Chet the Cat catches of Jack Frost and a Cataclysm under tower in mid lane. Mike Beeston will also be going down under tower. Very, very symbolic, I think,
Oh,
of
and
how
the
strong.
flash R from the Malphite to secure the shutdown on the Mordekaiser. That could be huge for catching up. I honestly was not expecting that at all.
I do think that bounty is much needed for Team UNF, and I don't think that Big Sheesh will be the worst person to have it on. I really hope we do not see him build red boots.
No, he's already
Um,
got blue boots.
oh, okay, I think you're like a little bit ahead of me.
Oh, maybe.
What is your timer?
Um, I was able to speed it up just now, seeing if I was behind. My timer is 7:25.
17:25. Okay.
Yeah. I'm apparently a bit behind. I was just speeding it up.
Okay.
Sorry, it delays a little bit. I thought it was just gonna be a few seconds, but I ended up fast forwarding like a decent amount. No, nothing important was
Currently
missed, but
at 17:50. Am I ahead or behind of you?
you're like 2 seconds behind.
Okay.
Yeah, they were. Team Nebraska was posturing for the Drake, kind of just getting real deep vision, setting up nicely, and it kind of became a battle in the jungle here where they did get a pick on Mike Beeston, allowing J4 to just kind of take that Drake uncontested. And bot lane decided that they would just go mid and push, because honestly, J4 doesn't really need help taking that Drake. And pushing mid and having Talia push bot, it's great for applying that much needed pressure to secure the position they're at in terms of being ahead.
Nebraska Esports now has a 10,000 gold lead over Team UNF. This game has been looking bleak for quite a while. I don't think we're going to see it turn around. Honestly, I'm very impressed that the Mordekaiser for Nebraska Esports managed to die earlier. I think that Nebraska is really quite confident in this game, and I think that I don't even think that much overconfidence will make them lose. I think that they're so far ahead, it honestly shouldn't be reasonable for any of their members to die for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and
The
honestly, I think
scoreline
Mordekaiser getting cut there
4-13.
was a bit of an overextension.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just stood under the tower a little bit, ate a couple extra shots just for fun. And it backfired for him. We do see Big Sheesh getting caught out by Hagaromo. He will just barely escape with his life. I think finally we are starting to see him build a little bit of MR. I don't think Mercury's treads is enough. We do see him build Negatron Cloak.
And
And
a
I
great
think we will
shutdown
be
from
seeing.
Jack Frost on the Varus there, catching him out and using his R to finish him off. But unfortunately, the Jack Frost does get caught out himself by the Karma Mord and the J4. Yeah, and this does break out into a full-on skirmish, where they're getting split in half a little bit here, which I don't think is looking good for UNF. Yeah, and Elise getting picked off, Poppy as well, kind of just snowballing into lots of kills there. With the shutdown they got on Varus, Nebraska is still only 10,000 gold ahead after that fight, which is
A
very
little, they're
interesting.
actually 11,000 gold ahead
Oh yeah,
at this
now it's
point. It's
11,000.
just
Yeah.
the gap is getting further and further. And we will be seeing Team Nebraska take this Otacon. Presently, Team Nebraska has every objective taken this game, I believe. Yeah, Team
Yep.
UNF hasn't gotten a single objective. Team UNF has not gotten a single tower. Uh, I don't think Team UNF has dealt 20% of any tower's health. This is an incredibly dominant performance by Nebraska Esports. Um,
Unfortunately, yeah.
I also think every member of their team is performing quite well. I don't think this is an instance of a standout individual of their team. Obviously, the Jarvan is, if I had to choose a member who stands out, this Jarvan is very present where he needs to be, and this Talia is very present where she needs to be. I feel like every time there's something significant happening, they're there for it. And I think that's why Nebraska has been so successful over the course of this game.
Yeah, and that's kind of exactly what we predicted when we saw the team comps with just simply commenting on the mobility difference between Syndra and Talia. It's just natural
Hmm.
that Talia is going to be more present in a way than Jack Frost is going to be, and that is going to make all the difference when it comes to all these team fights. Like this Talia just zooms in on that bot lane. They barely get the Mal fight, but that was thanks to Talia's R there, and Talia continues the rampage, just poking Nick out from under tower, getting Mike Beeston to half health, and just being an absolute terrorist to UNF.
Now, at this point, it does look like Nebraska Esports will be pushing all five of their members bot lane. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the push to end. Baron spawning in 2 minutes. I don't think they want to wait that long for this game to wrap up. We see the J4 go in very aggressively with his ultimate, and it does work out. Two members of Team UNF go down for the price of one on Nebraska Esports. One of the Nexus turrets has gone down on the side of UNF. Kelpo going extremely aggressively forward on Amber Dragon here. Uh, does not manage to take her down, but gets the other two members of Team UNF in his efforts. And this will be I think this might be the fastest game that UNF has played. And it is heartbreaking that it is so very not in their favor. An
Yeah.
absolutely magnificent performance by Nebraska Esports here. We'll see if they can carry that into the second game.
Yeah, I think at the end there it was just the synergy between the Mordekaiser and the J4 was just incredibly strong, with J4 collecting everyone in his ult like that, and Mordekaiser just being able to cast two abilities and having his passive to hurt everyone just does so much damage, especially with how far ahead he was, and how he was, um, and how he was just kind of being really oppressive to the Malphite in the top lane early. I feel like they identified that UNF's weak point would be the top lane there. And not to be offensive to anyone, but I do think that is the case. And I think them really honing in on that was what helped so much with their success that last game. And so as we're looking at the second round of bans, we're actually seeing a pretty much all the same bans so far. Nebraska double banning the jungle with Volibear Kindred, and UNF starting with the Jinx and Aurora ban, which were both bans we saw in the previous round as well. A little indecisive on the Aurora there, and Nebraska also rebanning that Galio. And those are all incredibly strong champs with huge team fight abilities, so I understand wanting to shy away from those. And UNF seems like they are going to also be copying all three of their bans from the first round with a reban on the Garen, but it seems like they might be considering banning somebody else, the way that they're kind of hovering and lingering. And they decide just to lock it. Honestly, Garen's a menace, can't blame them.
Now, we did see a UNF offer up their mid laner as their very first pick when they had blue side. It's a very aggressive move. They clearly wanted the Syndra that game, and they did not want to let Hagoromo get the chance to play it. Um, and I think that's why they took that decision to choose that champion so early on. We do see Caitlyn come out, or Caitlyn at least considered for the side of UNF. I wouldn't be surprised if she were to get selected. I know that Kelbo does play just a little bit of Caitlyn. Um, we've seen a lot of Lucian from him in the past couple of days. A lot of Tristana. I wouldn't be surprised to see other of those characters come out. I think that Caitlyn is maybe the strongest lane bully right now. It would be interesting to see uh, Nebraska try to contest that with their own. Uh, yeah, I have no clue what we're going to see come out. We do actually see the Lucian come out, and we do see the Melio quickly come right after. A very strong combination in the ball lane here for Team Nebraska. Nick is going to have to really pull something off with this Nico. It is possible we see this Nico go into the mid lane for Team UNF, but I am fully expecting this to be Nick on the Nico, and I think he will have to try quite hard to get it to work. And we see the brand pick coming in for Team UNF. It's not something I think I've seen any of them play. I know back in the day, Jack Frost played quite a bit of brand, but I haven't seen him pull it out in a long time. So I think this brand might be going towards the mid lane here for Team UNF. We see a Cassante band coming out.
Yeah, I think they might be bringing out the Tyler's brand, like what you're saying, which again, also like you're saying, they haven't seen the brand in a while, so this might be something they were practicing behind the scenes, getting Tyler more comfortable on brand again, seeing how it fits into team comps, etc.
Now, a lot of thought is going into this band for Nebraska, and we see the Olaf band come out. A little bit surprising here. I have never seen UNF run an Olaf. I think that UNF values more so the compositions they've put together than the characters that the players play. When we see a Gwen band come out on the side of UNF, which is once again, I feel like it shows their lack of research a little bit. Sorry. I feel like it shows their lack of research a little bit. I think the jungler for Team Nebraska is especially fond of the Gwen, and I expect this Diana to be going towards the jungle. The mid laner of Nebraska Esports plays quite a lot of mages and not so much assassins. Obviously, he's an excellent player. He can play them, but he tends not to. Pantheon coming out for UNF. A very interesting addition to the comp that they already have. I feel like I think I like the Xin Zhao quite a bit more than the Pantheon pick here. I feel like UNF has a lot of CC on their team, and I feel like the Pantheon would just be a little too much single target crowd control. Obviously, the Nico ult is a very wide berth, but between the brands, the Nico and the Caitlyn, it seems like UNF's comp is excellent at shutting down a single character. We see a Mumu come out for Nebraska here, which means the Diana was mid, which is a big surprise to me. I guess not to UNF. They were just so well aware of it.
And yeah, I was going to say, it looks like you were wrong. It looks like UNF predicted that exactly as it was going to happen and reacted to it accordingly. And honestly, a Gwen in that team comp would have been abysmal for UNF to deal with. So, honestly, not even the worst ban given that they did read that correctly.
And we see Warwick come out as a response to the Ambessa. Certainly an interesting pick. I know UNF really does like the Warwick in the top lane. I don't think it's especially strong into Ambessa, but I wouldn't say it's terribly weak either. Maybe I'm wrong. Ambessa generally doesn't do too well into Warwick, but I feel like Ambessa is just so much stronger of a character in the late game than the Warwick is that all Team Nebraska really needs to do is make it to that late game. And I feel like the rest of the comp is really quite strong early, with especially with the Lucian Emilio on the bottom side of the map. I feel like Nebraska Esports has all the tools they need to make it through this game, between the Lucian and Emilio being strong early, the Diana being strong mid, and Mumu and Bessa being strong late. UNF definitely will have a game on their hands.
Yeah, and also I wanted to point out, we had predicted that the brand would be mid and Nico would be support, but it's actually the opposite that's the case. We're going to be seeing Jack Frost on Nico, we're going to be seeing Nick on brand. Which, I didn't even know Jack Frost plays Nico. I thought he was going to be pulling out his ancient brand gameplay as well. And it felt like it made sense to me that Nico would be in Nick's roster. But honestly, I'm not too upset with this either. I feel like this is going to make for interesting laning. Nico, Diana. Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah, playing a mage like a Nico into a Diana is always such a horrible experience. And especially since we saw how the laning went last time where they were both mages. They were Syndra and Talia. And Talia still, with the mobility, stomped. We're kind of seeing the same thing here, but the Diana is also just an assassin instead of a mage over the Nico. I mean, I think picking someone more mobile like the Nico to try to match and respond to the mobility that they're clearly looking for in their mid laners, like the Diana, is the right call.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the way that Hashimoto, is that his name? Did I say it wrong?
It is Hagoromo.
Oh, Hagoromo. I'm sorry. I thought it was yeah. And the way Hagoromo was being oppressive in mid lane, I feel like even if you try to pick a champ that matches mobility to Diana like Nico, you're still just going to be out-tempoed by the fact that Diana's going to have prio more often. She's going to have the better strength when it comes to ganking and showing up to objectives because she'll be ahead. And I don't know. I feel like this mid lane the matchup is gonna be horrible. I mean, I personally hate playing mages into people like Diana. It is such a disgusting experience for me. Not pleasurable by the slightest.
It's my opinion that Jack Frost should have quite a strong advantage here in his lane, especially with the recent buffs to Doran's Shield, or rather nerfs to Doran's Shield and Second Wind, and the fact that Diana is an assassin, and assassins are famously weak early game. I think the Nico has all the tools she needs to really force Diana out, or the brand. I'm really not certain.
Yeah, Nico is definitely, like, mages are also weak early, but Nico's definitely up there on, like, the stronger of that range. Like, her utility is huge, her passive does lots of damage. So if Jack Frost plays it right and tries to push the Diana out early, that could end up working out really well. But they might be planning to just scale with Diana since she's stronger late anyways. So we might be seeing the Diana playing too safe for Jack Frost to really capitalize on any significant mistakes that Diana would be making.
Another thing I'm curious about is how this top lane will go. I think that supposedly Warwick and into Ambessa is a Warwick favored matchup, but I really feel like Ambessa has the tools she needs to make it through the matchup. I think we're just gonna see the wave shoved on cooldown uh, by the Warwick, but we'll see. We will certainly see.
Yeah, we certainly will. I was gonna make a comment about how Michael also plays Warwick in jungle and how it kind of limiting his pool. But honestly, the third game, I'm expecting that Wombo combo team. They always try to pull it out with the Orianna and the Nocturne. They always try to play it at least once per set of scrims, and we haven't seen it yet. So I'm expecting it to be the draft. Prepare for trouble and make it double. We love to see the team having a bit of fun and not taking their loss too harshly. Yeah, but I think they're not concerned about
I do
Warwick.
see.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
How far in are you? What's your timer? Just right off the bat.
110 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, almost got the Amumu here, and Diana's coming in, forcing Jack Frost's flash. Mike Beeston gets out without using any sums. Might be seeing an execute here. Oh, and Diana, he's trying to go for a sneaky recall, but Diana caught him. I don't think she realized that she hit him, though. Or she's just lost on where he's at. And he's still going to try to steal their blue buff. Diana just abandoning her first wave to try to deal with the J4 here.
And it looks like Mike Beeston on the Xin Zhao will get the blue buff reset.
Yeah, Amumu is booking it to try to trade for it at least.
And I think the Amumu is definitely going to be stronger than the Xin Zhao right here. Both junglers trading flash. An immense amount of time has been wasted, but Chet the Cat does come out ahead. I will see if Mike Beeston can even clear his first camp. He's quite low on health. But obviously Jungle Roll is quite adept at taking jungle camps. So
yeah,
I think he should be able to take his red buff and make it through. We'll see. It's going to be close. He's not kiting the camp at all. Just beating it straight up.
I mean, both the
It's
jungles are
very
about the
close.
same amount of behind on starting their cycle, and they're both down flash. So it's not the worst thing for UNF. It could have gone a lot worse. Michael could have died. So, good thing he got
What's your
out.
timer right now?
302.
Okay.
Yeah, we see Jack Frost reacting really well with the root for when Diana dives in, but unfortunately she just does so much damage and can dive in again and again. He did force her to recall a bit early here, though. Oh, and he psyched out Jack Frost with the recall and walked away and flashed back in to finish off the kill, and Jack Frost in mid lane securing the first blood. And in top lane, we see Ambessa beating up Warwick and even forcing out his barrier there. And again, we're already seeing Ambessa kind of being oppressive in terms of farm. Warwick's a bit behind on farm. And seeing how it went last game, we'll probably be seeing this gap increase as the game goes on. Hopefully, it's a bit better than last game, but...
Ambessa is just eating tower shots, trying to greed for the Warwick. She just barely doesn't manage to kill him, and I think she's going to waste a bit of time here trying to chase him down. In the bot lane, Amber Dragon does go down at the hands of Kelpo. Not a great start for Team UNF here. Nick does look for a kill on Chet the Cat and gives another kill to the ADC of Nebraska Esports. I think the 1 kill was pretty bad, but 2 is just disastrous. And in response, UNF does manage to net a kill in the mid lane,
Yeah, I think
putting
staying to
themselves
try
on the
to greed for
board.
that kill was not the right move there. With a team that can handle an advantage so well in Snowball, as we clearly saw in the first game, I think minimizing risky plays for greed like that is the play. I think they should have been a lot more cautious.
The first Drake has spawned. We see both junglers pathing down. Amumu just a little bit faster than Mike Beeston, but both of them should be present around the same time. Nuva is lurking towards the mid lane, does get spotted on a ward. UNF is aware of what's going on, or they should be aware of what's going on. The bot lane for Team UNF has recalled later than the bot lane of Team Nebraska. Hopefully that later recall sort of offsets at least a little bit the significant gold advantage that Kelpo has on the Lucian here. We see Mike Beeston get caught out by the Amumu in mid lane and cut down. Really unfortunate to happen right before the Drake. It looks like it will be going cleanly and calmly into the hands of Nebraska Esports. And UNF, once again, does not normally recontest these Drakes. I don't think we're going to see them recontest this time around.
And Jack Frost flashing in to land one last auto attack on the Diana to finish her off. Honestly, Diana's doing worse this game than I thought she'd be doing at this point, given how hard she killed it with Talia in the previous game. 1 and 2. But that's really a testament to how Jack Frost and Mike Beeston adjusted to his gameplay and working around that and making sure he doesn't snowball as much as he did last game.
It looks like UNF's bot lane is struggling quite significantly into Kelpo and Nuvia. Mike Beeston is going for a sort of sneaky gank. He does get seen, so this will ultimately, or this should ultimately, result in nothing favorable for the side of Team UNF. The Amumu is coming in, and he does have his R, the Curse of the Sad Mummy. He does manage to hit Mike Beeston with it. The support for Team UNF heartbreakingly takes the kill. And Kelpo nets yet another on the form of Mike Beeston, and Hagoromo finds Nick under his own tower. A really unfortunate scenario for Team UNF here. Wolf tries to dive under tower, trying to catch out Big Sheesh, does not manage to do so, forced to flash out as to not die to the tower, and Big Sheesh flashes after him and gets the kill.
Yeah, and while all that was happening bot, there's actually more setup happening top there where Mbessa ulted Warwick when he was incredibly low, and he responded perfectly with an ult back just to save his life and peel just in time. And I'm really happy that ended up with Warwick getting that kill there. Especially because of how bad top lane did last game. This is quite the change.
And there was a 2v2 scuffle underneath the Baron pit, just in anticipation of these grubs here. Team UNF does come out on top of this scuffle. Nico hit a fabulous ult on both the Amumu and the Diana of Nebraska Esports. And Mike Beeston was able to clean up well enough. There is a 1,000 gold lead in the favor of Nebraska Esports, but I think UNF is doing a far better job at this game around than they were last game at dealing with them. I think this grub fight will be very telling of how the rest of the game will go. And Ambessa should get her ult back slightly after Warwick's. So I think UNF should be looking for this grub fight sooner rather than later. I would not be surprised to see it attempted after Mike Beeston clears his Raptors, and it looks like they're just going for the grubs right now. And Bessa was seen on the Scuttle Vision, and we see a 3v2 in favor of Team UNF here. Jack Frost hits 2 with his ult. The Diana dashes in, but gets stunned, or gets feared rather, before she can cast her ult. Hagoromo is going to go down here at the hands of Warwick, does not manage to get a kill, a triple kill for Mike Beeston. Really, really fantastic. It's exactly what UNF would want to get into this game, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say that when you were talking about the Void Grub fight being interesting, I was gonna say that given the vision I was seeing being placed in terms of preparation, I would have guessed that UNF was gonna come out on top, and I'm really glad that that was the case, because UNF didn't get any objectives last game, really struggling with that, and they just won that 3v3 easily and secured Void Grubs. They're in such a better spot than they were in the previous game, especially at this point in time.
And now we do see Team UNF spot lane resetting in anticipation of this Drake in 40 seconds. I think they're a little late. I think that Nebraska's bot lane will have prio here, and I do think we will see this Drake go into the hands of Nebraska. They do have a significantly stronger bot lane. I think the Lucian is the main thing that would be able to reasonably contest, like Beastons and Zhao. And we do see Nick get caught out in between the tier 1 and tier 2 of Team UNF, and I do think we're going to see Amber Dragon get tower dove here. We see Moonfall come out from the Diana, the culling thrown out by Kelpo. It's just enough to take down Amber Dragon on the Caitlyn. Mike Beeston also in a sticky situation, 1v4, has retreated to the safety of his tier 1, but I think we're just going to see the Xin Zhao of Team UNF get tower dove. Absolutely perfect dive. Nuvia initiates it, takes tower aggro, and everyone comes out relatively healthy for the scenario, for the situation. Meanwhile, Jack Frost, the mid laner of Team UNF, has just been hitting a turret and is almost through with the mid turret. Honestly, I think that it's a race between UNF's mid lane and Nebraska's bot lane to see who can get the first turret here. And I honestly think that the bot lane is going to be the ones that come out on top in this race. Hagoromo has done a great job just sort of collecting kills around the map to set himself ahead of the Nico here. Nico's gotten a lot of assists from her ult, but it's just not as impactful as a full kill. And Mike Beeston does start the Drake. We will be seeing, most likely, this Ocean Drake going into the hands of UNF here. Honestly, it has to be a super refreshing sight to the players of Team UNF. It's a stark difference to their previous game. And I think also, on a separate note, the top lane is starting to tip towards the favor of the Ambessa here. Despite being 0-2, the Warwick just isn't able to take favorable trades onto the Ambessa anymore. The Ambessa picked up Executioner's Calling, which applies grievous wounds. Obviously very, very effective into the Warwick, whose main strength is his sustain. Looks like there is a push for the tier 1 happening in the bot lane. UNF elects to just give it up. They already have 2 objectives. They're not concerned about boots here. They just say, take the first turret, leave our bot laners alone. We'll see what happens. And UNF bot laners are already rotating it towards the mid lane in response to this. Rift Herald is spawning right about now. And UNF, in anticipation of this, is setting up a dive on the Diana. We see the Nico ult come out, but just barely the Diana manages to survive thanks to Emilio's warm hugs and cozy campfire. Jack Frost has Zonya's, or I think it's the Seeker's arm guard under his tier 1 and does manage to survive the tower dive of the full enemy team. The first player to do so this match. A really complex fight happening in mid lane, and it is going in the favor of Nebraska Esports. Jack Frost, once again, the only member of his team left alive under the turret here. And it looks like we're sort of not going to be seeing another dive come down onto him. In the meantime, Amber Dragon, Caitlyn in the bot lane, just calmly, coolly collects first turret. No contest. I'm sure that's very well appreciated for her. She's quite behind the Lucian at this point, so any amount of gold she can get is helpful, but she's just so far behind. 2,500 gold is, it's not a small amount, especially when it comes to an individual level.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like the entire gold disparity between the teams is just that Lucian, which is incredibly frustrating. And Emilio too is a big shutdown. That bot lane is just really carrying right now.
Mike Beeson is top, looking for a kill on the Mbessa. He does manage to get a dash in on her, knocks her up, and a clean gank. 17 minutes in on top lane from Mike Beeson. Big Sheesh has been holding his own very nicely here in the top lane.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We see Mike Beeson look on it. Chet the Cat, the Amumu, does catch him out a little bit. Unfortunately, Kelpo is here before the members of Team UNF are here, and we see Big Sheesh go down at to a colon. We'll say he got cold. Call it a day. The Amumu of Nebraska Esports is starting the Rift Herald. Both teams obviously watering at the mouth over this. This Herald represents boots of or feats of strength for UNF, I believe.
No,
Maybe
Feats
not,
was
actually.
already won by.
No, Feats was already won. That's right.
Yeah, a long time ago with that first turret in the bot lane.
The feat of warfare.
Yeah.
My apologies.
If UNF had secured first tower, then you would have been right. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Yeah, despite how well UNF had been doing, I think Nebraska just applies pressure and knows where to find it a bit better than UNF does. So they've kind of turned it around here. And they're really kind of doing the same thing they did previous game of like identifying those weak points and pushing and slowly getting that gold lead.
The third Drake this game will be going over quite uncontestedly to Team Nebraska Esports. The next real objective is Otacon, 30 seconds away. We will be seeing it spawn on the top side of the map. Neither team is especially well set up for it. Obviously, Big Sheesh has had a pretty strong advantage over the Mbessa for the majority of the scheme. I do think we're going to see him have a better tempo than her when it comes to this Otacon, when it comes to the time to take Otacon. But we see the bot lane of Nebraska Esports begin to lurk up. And I think if this Lucian is able to connect to this Warwick, Nebraska Esports is going to have a fresh Otacon on their hands. And it looks like Big Sheesh and Team UNF as a whole was just unaware of this bot lane rotation, and the Otacon will be going in favor of Nebraska Esports. UNF does not take the opportunity to contest it. Instead, they are pushing out their lanes. It looks like they wanted to take an attempt at the mid tier 2, but they elected not to. Both of the members of Team UNF's bot lane are just desperately trying to escape right now. And Jack Frost is lurking around, but not necessarily close enough. Next Drake is 3 minutes away. At this point, Team UNF just needs to farm minion waves and do their best not to get picked off, so as not to lose even more of what they're at. It's about roughly a 5,000 gold lead in favor of Nebraska Esports. I think it's exactly as you said earlier. Nebraska is just a team that really knows how to push a gold lead. I think they have fantastic individual players, but their ability as a team to push their gold lead is absolutely exceptional. I've loved seeing the tower dives come out from 4 members, and as I said, another one is coming out under the bot lane tier 2. Jack Frost is in peril once again, and once again he does manage to survive the tower dive. I think he is proving to be an exceptional member of Team UNF here, being the only one consistently able to make it out of these 2-3-man dives alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to get out when he's got Zonia's. What he seems to like doing is when someone like a Mumu dives in, he roots and then Zonia's. And there he had ulted before Zonia's thing too. And that's how he almost got the Mumu, but Mumu just kind of backed off and got his health back. And it was unfortunate that he got away. But yeah, Jack Frost is definitely making the most of what he's got. He's doing a fantastic job.
It looks like Nebraska Esports is absolutely fiending for this bot lane tier 2, 4 members of their team versus 3 members of Team UNF. Just sitting under turret and doing nothing, just trying their best to deter each other, and really, ultimately, they're just burning time until the Drake spawns 1 minute away now. And it looks like Team UNF might be able to situate themselves a little bit earlier this time around. I think more members are in the area and available, but vision is just not coming for Team UNF, and we actually see the support for Team UNF recalling right now. It is 40 seconds before the Drake spawns, but I think ideally you want wards down a lot sooner. Additionally, Mike Beeson gets caught out by Kelpo. Absolutely fantastic play from this guy at this game. He's really been showing his prowess on Lucian. I think that getting a UNF's jungler just before the Drake is just another on his long list of achievements this game. This will be Soul Point for Nebraska Esports. Third Drake they've taken this game. Obviously, Chemtech Soul is not the most exciting, not the most useful soul, but soul is better than no soul. And we do see Nick very nearly get caught out once again. His full combo used on it, the mid laner of Nebraska, and 0 damage dealt. And this Diana is now looking for the Warwick almost under tower. Just deletes half of his health almost instantly. Nasher is spawning in about 20 seconds. I do think we will see Nebraska posture for it. Mike Beestum almost getting caught out once again. Nearly goes down to Hagoromo. Instead, we see Jack Frost get caught out by the Amumu, and I do think we will be seeing the Nico die this time around. He does manage to squeeze out the flash of Team Nebraska's jungler, but it's a small pittance for the middle laner of Team UNF. And it does look like Nebraska will finally be getting this bottom lane tier 2. They've just managed to push their lead so hard. Mike Beestum dashes in on the Xin Zhao, uses the Crescent Guard, doesn't really get anything for it, just kind of a pointless scuffle.
Yeah, and while all that's happening, both mid and top are being pushed out. Lucian taking that mid T2, and Mbessa taking that top T2. And really just them having pressure on all 3 lanes at the same time while they're getting tower dove and killed in the bot lane is just not fun. And it's really increasing that gold disparity between the two teams, with Nebraska being almost 10,000 gold ahead again.
This game, however, has gone on longer than the previous game.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say.
We will be seeing this Baron go down in favor of Nebraska Esports. UNF, 2 members of Team UNF has realized what's happening, but they're just not really able to do anything about it. Mike Beestum is on the opposite side of the map, is very aware that he can't contest this, doesn't even want to try, is just appreciating that his jungle isn't overrun right now.
Yeah, the only thing they can do is wait for this next Drake that's in 2 minutes, but given the Baron buff, given the Prio, I think it's the least of anybody's concerns. I mean, depending how this push goes, maybe they'll focus on getting it, since for Nebraska it would be soul point. I don't know how hard they want to push here. This could be a game-ending push, given they have Baron, but maybe they want to take it a bit slower and kind of just get that soul, recollect themselves, and push again.
I do believe that because Nebraska has Baron, this will be a game-ending push. Additionally, their gold lead now at 12,000 is just enough that I think Nebraska is ready to finish this game off. Once again, Kelpo, absolutely fantastic play. Cleans up the members of Team UNF, kills Amber Dragon under the fountain. Very nearly nets himself a pentakill, but it wasn't meant to be this game. On to the third.
Like we jinxed it final with saying that it went on for a bit longer, because really it was just a bit that it went on longer. It must be
when
really
I said
tough.
That, I was not expecting it to go on much longer than that.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought that they'd have more time as well, but they just pushed so effectively. I mean, we already saw that in the first game as well, so honestly, we should have expected it to some degree. But yeah. I think I said it earlier, and I'm gonna reiterate it here. I think for sure UNF is gonna be looking to try to pull out their Wombo combo in the draft here. Which most famously is they've got Nocturne and Oriana. That's really like the main duo that they got there. They love playing it during every scrim, and we haven't seen it yet. And UNF consistently performs the best when they play that comp. So if they do get to put it out here, I'm expecting at least that it's not as bad of a loss as these other two games have been. But we've been surprised by UNF before. They've pulled out that team and managed one win out of the 3 games. And honestly, if we can see that today, I think that's something that UNF can walk away with and be proud of themselves. I mean, they've done a great job holding their own against everything that Nebraska is doing. In that second game, it seemed like there was a lot that they learned, a lot they took from it, and a lot that they adjusted. Even though they only lasted a bit longer, I will say their early game was better for significantly longer. UNF even maintained a lead up until like 10 minutes into the game, which is leagues better than how that first game went.
Draft has started. I do think we'll be seeing the same 3 characters drafted by both sides here. Volley Bear, Kindred, Galio for Nebraska, and Jinx, Aurora. I can't recall the third, actually. We do see a differentiation,
Garen.
actually. Camille.
Not Garen. Galio
Um,
is what I meant to say. Oh no, yeah, Garen.
no, it was Garen.
It was
It was
Galio
Garen.
for Nebraska. I don't know why I got
Yeah.
that tripped up.
Both G's, both about the same name length. And we see the Darius band for Team UNF, which I'm not terribly surprised by. Wolf has been playing a bit of Darius recently. Most recently, we've seen Wolf play a lot of tank characters, so I'm surprised that we haven't seen any of that come out from him this time around, this game around. But UNF does elect to first pick the Garen. Chris evidently having high confidence in his ability to pilot this character. We'll see how it actually ends up going. I think first picking a top laner, especially a character like Garen, is very, very disastrous. We'll see if this Garen is actually intended for the top lane. I couldn't imagine where else it would go. But I don't think it's a very good idea at all to first pick. So we'll see what UNF is cooking up.
We're seeing a Kaisa Leona in the bot lane that Nebraska's locking in here. Very strong dive that they're clearly going for here. It looks like they're going to be banking very similarly on what they were banking on last game, which is that their bot lane synergy is just so good that they could do things like tower dive and snowball and kind of be the main carries for the game.
Seraphine Nautilus locked in for UNF, or, well, Nautilus being considered. Every time we have Caitlyn on the ADC, really every time we have Caitlyn in the game, we see the Seraphine get banned, and we haven't seen that at all this time, or this game around. So I am really, really excited to finally get to see Caitlyn's fabled Seraphine. And we do see the Braum locked in for UNF, so a very safe bot lane here on the side of UNF. I don't think it's a bad choice at all into the Kaisa Leona, both very, very divey characters. I think it's very clear what Nebraska's intention for the bot lane is here, and I think that UNF has a great reaction to it.
Yeah, I think going long ranged and peel is exactly what they should be doing here, especially if they're trying to sustain through that early game a little bit better. And Nebraska bans out the Trundle Jungle on Michael. Yet another ban on that on Mike Beeston. And UNF bans the Melon response, which honestly makes a lot of sense with the R's that we have on the table now with Seraphine Braum. And I'm sure they know what they want to be picking next, and that it would be even worse for them if they had a Mel. I'm sure
Can
they're
Mel
making the right
reflect
call there.
Braum's ultimate?
She can, yeah.
I was not aware of that fact.
Yeah, she can also reflect his Q. I'm not sure if it also applies to passive, but it is big if you're solo chasing her that she can slow you down.
Hmm.
And reflecting the charm, we all know how horrible that would be.
We do see Olaf selected for Team Nebraska here. Maybe that's what they were thinking when they banned it last time around. They were not wanting to get it sniped. Additionally, we do see um, Chet pull out his Gwen. I know he's been playing it quite a lot recently, so I think it's something to fear. And we do see Mike Beast and Diego, also something to fear. I think it makes UNF's plan quite a bit more obvious. They're going for a pick comp. They're just trying to get Viego a reset and then let Mike Beeston steamroll through Nebraska. I think that Nebraska, though, has quite a few options to deal with that. I think Gwen, Leona, Olaf are all fantastic at not getting picked. I think these are characters that can really survive what Team UNF is trying to do. And it looks like Nebraska has just looked up and down at UNF and said, I can see what you're doing, and I'm not going to let it happen. And we do see a Smolder locked in. I would expect that to be in the mid lane for Team Nebraska, just making themselves even more set as the game goes on. Obviously, Nebraska has a sort of weak early game here. I think UNF really has the opportunity to win this one. Um, and we'll see if they manage to take that here.
Yeah, I do think even if their pick comp goals have been put to an end, at least they do have a team that has incredibly good peel. Which again, with this insane dive comp, having a lot of peel could help with their sustain, especially as the game carries on. If they hold on to those R's, use them at the right time, they could avoid getting dived, which was happening a lot in the previous game. It was the main issue for them, I would say. Was how often they would just dive and get massive value out of it.
Both teams have claimed that they are ready for this game. Our stream, I expect the blind pick draft to be coming up shortly, and here it is.
And so that Gwen is going to
Roughly
be jungle.
4 minutes until we get to witness this game. What did you say about the jungle?
Oh, that it's Gwen.
Yeah.
That is going to be fun with her just kind of showing up wherever she wants, especially in the bot lane. Always a fun time playing with a Gwen.
It does make me wonder if Mike Beeston will be considering invades at all more so this game. I feel like Gwen is a character that takes a sort of a second to start to gain that strength that she needs to duel. I think at pre-level 6, she's very, very vulnerable, and I think Diego is a character that can take great advantage of that. But obviously, I have not known Mike Beeston to take those sort of risks. I don't think we'll be seeing it happen. Um, Garen into Olaf, a very, very interesting matchup. I feel like Olaf is a character we don't get to see very often. And I feel like his ultimate doesn't do an especially large amount into the Garen. Garen doesn't have a whole lot of CC. So Olaf obviously wasn't chosen especially for the Garen. Additionally, Olaf is not very strong into Garen. Garen has a dominant matchup into that character. So I think that the Olaf was really chosen as a response to the rest of Team UNF. And it should be a reasonably tough lane for Wolf here. Garen, of course, is a character that scales extremely well, so I think it will be quite strongly on his shoulders to keep UNF sort of competitive in the late game. Obviously, UNF has a very strong team fight between the Seraphine and the Viego and the Braum too. Honestly, there's a very evident plan of what UNF wants to do, and I think that having that plan sets them up very strongly for this game. I think their plans, their ideas were a little less clear in the previous two games. Obviously, there were still ideas there, but it's just not as, I guess, cold, hard, and straightforward as what they have right now.
Yeah.
On the other side, sorry, is there something you want to say? I feel like I'm talking a lot, and I don't
No,
want to
no, no.
be
Go ahead. Go ahead.
taking time from you.
No, no.
I was
By
going to
all
say on
means.
the other side, Nebraska Esports has a very solidly late game composition. Kaisa, Smolder, Gwen, all fantastic scalers into the late game. Um, it'll be sort of tough, I feel, for UNF to actually take advantage of their weak early game, but with the characters like Ari and Seraphine, who really want to sort of sit back and scale into the mid game. I think that the most important stage of this game is going to be the first 5 minutes, as it often is, but especially in this game, UNF needs to capture some sort of lead for themselves in the first 5 minutes. That this first Drake needs to go to Team UNF, probably the first set of grubs too, if UNF wants to have a sort of footing in this game. They really, really, really need this for themselves. And I really do hope that they can see from the previous games that that's what they need. They can look at the composition that they're fighting and they can tell that that's what they need. I hope that they can reach out and grasp a victory for themselves here. About 3 more seconds until we actually get into the game. Spectator delay has run its course. It's worked its magic.
Yeah, you definitely had a lot more to say than I do because the main thing I was thinking was that I think early here we might be seeing an invade, mostly just because of how strong some of these champs are early, like Olaf and Gwen. They can do a lot early in terms of their auto attacks. So we might be seeing them invade through the jungle. No, it looks like they're just setting up for a 5-man.
We do see Team UNF look for Wolf in the top lane just a little bit. Don't manage to find anything from it.
Jack Frost is on the way to see if they can catch him out, but of course he reacted and backed off.
Let me know when you get a minute in, please.
Right now.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
Across these games, we've seen neither team go for any sort of invade cheese. We did see wards go down on Team UNF's Raptor pit quite often. One again this game as well. Just shows a little bit more of the adeptness of Nebraska Esports, their ability to capture that vision early. And really, I think the lanes we need to look out for are mid lane and bot lane. I think if Big Sheesh doesn't know what he's doing, Wolf could absolutely run him down and terrorize him. But I would hope that because of the Garen first pick, we will see this lane go comfortably in favor of Team UNF. That is what is expected, anyways. both junglers are pathing downwards. We see the bot lane of Team Nebraska look for a second wave crash. There will be. We also see Wolf once again go into the blue jungle of Team UNF to get vision. The team is aware that Viego is pathing downwards, but Nebraska Esports already sort of had a plan for that. The wave is coming towards them, and Smolder manages to net first blood on the Ari. He's incredibly healthy. Just a horrible situation for Team UNF, honestly. We really did not want to see this happening, and I think this is a sign that we can expect Team Nebraska to run away with yet another game. I don't think it'll be quite as fast as their first one, just because these characters tend to need time to get online. But it's not a good sign for UNF.
Yeah.
Kelpo does take significant damage in the bot lane here. UNF does have the opportunity to freeze the wave in the middle, or I guess it's better than what it's the most agency they've had this game. Mike Beeston does get seen on a ward, does not get to go for anything, and is caught out a little bit going for the scuttle. Chet the Cat, along with Kelpo and Nuvia, do find him going for the scuttle, kill him, and walk away almost completely untouched. That was just quite unfortunate for the jungler of Team UNF. Once again, we see Jack Frost getting run down by Hagoromo. Clearly, this is not a matchup that Tyler is used to. Sort of just eating damage from the Smolder. It's a very tough thing to deal with, I think, mentally, if you're not aware necessarily of what Smolder is capable of.
Yeah.
I think most people know Smolder as a scaling champ and don't expect any damage from him in the early game, but he's strong late and he's strong enough early to put up a fight for sure.
In top lane, while you were talking, Mike Beeston did flash into the top lane to help secure that kill on the Olaf. Garen was doing just fine beating him up, but he would have gotten away if Mike Beeston didn't come in and kind of help get that kill there. And that does help to even out him in respect to the other jungle as well, who does have a kill. But now they're even.
Some significant traits happening in the bot lane here. Kelpo almost manages to go down. Amber Dragon does not have a flash, but Nick manages to use it quite nicely and net a kill and an assist for his ADC. The first Drake has come up. As I mentioned earlier, we would really like to see this go in favor of Team UNF. And if we don't, I think that just spells doom, honestly. I don't think that we can expect much out of UNF if we don't see them get this first Drake.
Yeah.
Especially since UNF has a stronger bot lane. The Smolder is stronger than the Ahri, but I think at this point between their items, they're about even. Both just got their recalls off. Both bot lanes just got their recalls off. Gwen is recalling now. And it could be that we don't see this Drake contested at all by either team in this immediate next fight. Mike Beeston is looking at the bot lane. It looks like Nuvia will get caught out. Mike Beeston barely misses the Spectral Maw and does not get the stun down on the support of Nebraska Esports. And it looks like the Leona will be escaping just barely, unless Jack Frost is able to catch her out. And it looks like the Leona will not be escaping. Jack Frost does come down, uses the Spirit Rush, and gets himself a kill. Mike Beeston does want to look for this first Drake. He does recognize the lead that Team UNF has right here. None of the bot laners are level 6 yet, but they should be coming up on it pretty soon. Jack Frost gets a nearly positive trade on Hagoromo, so Smolder is lower than full health. It's kind of risky to send someone like that down towards the Drake when there's a Viego on it. And it looks like the first Drake will go over to Team UNF, and it looks like Nuvia might also get caught out once again. The ADC for Team UNF is not present and available for this, but between the Viego and the Braum, there should be enough damage, especially since the Viego does have access to the Heartbreaker. Yeah, nothing more to be said about that.
Yeah, with all these ganks that Viego is successfully pulling off, I think they're doing a good job with exactly what you were saying, that early on, those first 5-10 minutes, they want to try to, like, get these picks and stay even. And it looks like they've been incredibly successful because of it. UNF has a bit of a gold lead, just 300-400 gold. Not too bad. But they're certainly not behind by any means, which is the main highlight of what's going on here.
It's definitely better than they've been doing the previous two games. Chet the Cat has started the grubs. It looks like he'll probably clear the first one before Mike is able to get there. It looks like UNF isn't even close to aware that the grubs are going down right now. I'm honestly unsure of whether it will get contested. I don't think it will. Seeing the Smolder so close to his blue jungle, Mike Beeston does have to be aware at this point. I said I wanted to see UNF take both the grubs and the Drake, and we do not see them taking the grubs. I think I'd be comfortable with them taking the second dragon here, but I think that the Nebraska getting any objective is a very, very bad sign. Jack Frost does manage to take down his opponent in the mid lane, but Chet the Cat comes in, cleans up, and avenges his Smolder, who so recently fell. Mike Beeston once again pathing downwards. Top lane is sort of having a bit of a handshake. I'm almost disappointed to see this Garen not behind the tower. Garen is a character that is absolutely fantastic at proxying waves, and it looks like Big Sheesh either isn't aware of that fact or isn't confident enough to try it out for himself. But Wolf is playing this pretty much as perfectly as he can. An absolutely terrible lane, if I'm being quite honest, for Olaf here. Proxying is the best thing you could possibly do in this situation. He seems very aware of where the opposing jungler is, which at this moment is under the tier 1 in the bot lane, cleaning up both the ADC and the support of Nebraska and forcing Chet off of his jungle.
Yeah, right there we saw Mike Beeston yet again gank bot and get those kills for the bot lane. And they actually did a tower dive of their own, which was incredibly successful. Which is huge news again for the lead that we were talking about. I think if he keeps going bot, keeps feeding himself, keeps feeding Seraphine, I think there's more of a chance here for things to go well than there would have been in any of the other games.
We do see Chet the Cat looking for the Garen here. Wolf takes an unfavorable trade, trying to bait him in, but Big Sheesh is just on top of it, will not get caught out by his opponent's jungler. Actually, in the end here, the trade goes in favor of Wolf, most likely due to the refillable potions. I would not expect another trade like that to happen. I think that we're just going to see this Olaf try to clear the wave and then back up. I despise how scared Big Sheesh is playing of this Olaf. I think this is just such a confident point in the game for the Garen. Maybe he's waiting for level 11, but he really should be able to just force this Olaf off of the wave. Should be able to stop him from proxying. You should really be aware at this point that that's what the Olaf is trying to do. I am not pleased with the gameplay in the top lane here for Big Sheesh. We see him flash, ignite, Wolf, just desperate for a kill. And he will, of course,
And
be getting
R.
it for that much investment. And we do see
Seems like he
the
was just really done with
Demazian
Olaf.
justice come down.
I
Trike
think.
is spawning, so sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna talk about the Garen more. I was gonna say I think his issue with his confidence is just how poorly the previous games went. He's being incredibly careful that this could easily go poorly again. But yeah, you were talking about how Drake's coming up shortly, and a fight did break out here with everyone's R's being thrown out and UNF just picking people off one by one and snowballing it down and diving to finish off the Smolder as well, and just wiping the entire team clean, coming out nearly unscathed and ready to take this Drake. This is be exactly how you wanted this to go, Finn. You were hoping they'd get the second Drake, and I think this is the best way that possibly could have gone, just sweeping the whole team and going right into it.
Honestly, this game is looking like sort of a reflection of what the previous games have been. UNF has got such a dominant lead. I'm almost worried for them. I feel like if anything could bring it back, it is the monster that is Nebraska Esports. They have a comp that's strong late game. So we need to now see UNF push the lead that they have to really take over this game. The bot tier 1 is incredibly low. I would love to see Mike Beeston once again path bot and just take that tier 1. And I would love to see that happen sometime soon. We do see him coming top now, looking at the Olaf. And I do think we'll see this Olaf go down. He does have his Ragnarok up, and he does manage to somehow escape Mike Beeston. I don't know. I don't honestly know why Mike decided to stop chasing him, but he did. And additionally, Big Sheesh recalls without shoving the wave. So I think we're about to see some massive tower damage come in on the top lane. Mike Beeston now realizes his mistake is coming around to try and finish off the Olaf once and for all. Wolf did overstay his welcome and thankfully does manage to die. I think that is a sloppy mistake that he managed to live at all, but he was not playing his best and he did go down in the end. Hangoro farming his opponent's Raptors 14 minutes into the game. Already at around 10 stacks per minute. He's doing a fantastic job of just calmly, comfortably stacking up on the Smolder. He is 1 and 2, but I do not think he's behind this Ari by any means. He's almost 1,000 gold ahead, actually. I think this Smolder is going to become a pretty big problem for Team UNF.
Oh, for sure.
And
Especially the way that he's farming, he definitely has plenty of stacks. I mean, I can actually check that. Yeah, right now he's at 156, which is great pace given the time it is in the game. He should have his passive in about another 7 minutes.
I think it's going to be quite a bit sooner than that.
Very
at
well
this
could
pace
be.
anyways. I do think that if Team Nebraska Esports manages to pull this win out, it is going to be on the back of the Smolder. And I think that they're a good enough team that they know that's what needs to happen here.
Absolutely.
Smolder has gone bot now, a little bit more vulnerable of a lane for him. I think UNF needs to sort of consider the Smolder. Mike Beeston is here, but Chet the Cat is here to cover it. And it looks like instead of UNF considering the bot lane here, we are going to see Smolder and Gwen both come up to bother Mike Beeston in his own jungle. Really an unfortunate scenario here.
I
And
mean,
finally,
given how
we
pushed
do
up
see
the...
Garen proxying the wave. I'm so happy. I'm sorry to call attention away from the bot lane.
No, that's fine.
Finally, Big Sheesh has gained the confidence. He realized he might actually be stronger than the Olaf. He proxies one wave and elects to go back into lane and do nothing with the proxy. Very impressive decision making. I hope he learns from his Garen game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it
We
seems
just
like
seem to
he's
get
really
caught out by
finding his
Nuvia here.
comfort.
And a fantastic solar flare comes out from Nuvia, hitting both Amber Dragon and Nick. Kelpo follows up with a killer instinct. None of the members of Team UNF go down here, and Jack Frost is just zooming by with a Spirit Rush, cleaning up, sort of trying to tip the scales back in his favor. He's definitely more competitive with the gold of the Smolder now. Hits a fantastic charm onto Hagoromo, but in the end, it does manage to go down. Both mid laners end up expending their flashes, but Hagoromo just is healthy enough to make it through that scenario.
And
On
UNF is in
top.
the middle of taking so much in this mid lane with the Rift Herald, applying just a massive amounts of pressure here. And with Infernal Drake being up in 15 seconds, this kind of prio is really good for looking for that Drake. However, the vision that Nebraska has over the Drake is not looking good for them, and they've been all pushed back and they're resetting. So I think Nebraska, if they're doing the right decision here, they know this is their chance to take the Drake while everyone's resetting, and that is exactly what they're doing, yeah.
Yeah, this Drake does go over into the hands of Nebraska. Quite unfortunate. UNF just wasn't aware of the timing of the Drake when they were pushing with the Rift Herald. They were thinking more about what they could get out of the Herald rather than what was coming after. So I believe that's why the Drake did go down there. But obviously UNF did get quite a lot for the Rift Herald push. 2 turrets is nothing to scoff at, and it really opens up the middle for when the time to end does come around. Nick, exactly in the same scenario, caught once again by Nuvia, but this time manages to not get caught out by the solar flare, and Nuvia is the one that goes down for her aggression. Mike Beeston is present and on top of Hagoromo. Chalk does take him down. We are seeing exactly what I said at the start of the game, where this Viego is just getting reset after reset and tearing through the team of Nebraska Esports. Absolutely fantastically played by Mike Beeston. He did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight. And also wonderful setup by both Amber Dragon and Nick, just getting him that first kill.
Every team fight I see breaking out mid and over objectives, it's going exactly like that. That UNF gets to get a couple picks and kind of lead that into sweeping the whole team. And it honestly is so beautiful to see, especially with how those other games went. This must be incredibly satisfying for them to finally be doing so well.
And we see Wolf with the most disgusting BM I have seen in any scrim. Just, I guess UNF's Mike Beeston was not aware of how the Olaf character worked. Obviously, this is a character we don't get to see very often. But Michael was just cut down by the Olaf. The Olaf stood completely still, lulled Amber Dragon into a sense of comfortability, a sense of confidence, and just flashed on her and one-tapped her. It was disastrous, absolutely the worst thing that could come after the fight that UNF just had. Obviously, UNF does still have a lead, but they can't be making foolish plays like that, just handing over roughly 1,300 gold to the top laner of Nebraska Esports. Not nearly as behind the Garen as he once was. However, Smolder has reached his Dragon practice stats. This is a bit of a turning point. Obviously, Nebraska has been competitive at some points in this game. We did see them win one team fight. We saw Olaf run through 2v1 2 members of Team UNF. But with the Smolder reaching his stacks, he is going to start becoming a real issue for Team UNF.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it's not too big of an issue that it completely flips the game and has Nebraska winning again. I'd like to think that UNF can maintain this lead and really do with it what they would like to do.
While I was talking, Team Nebraska did kill Otacon just off of the Mike Beeston kill in the mid lane. It was really quite disastrous, honestly, for Team UNF. I think that is an objective you do not want going towards.
Himself.
The next objective will be an Infernal Drake spawning in a minute and a half. I feel like that's something we've seen UNF get a little bit worse at, is just getting vision on objectives in preparation. I feel like uh, even just a couple of weeks ago, we would have seen this river completely lit up. Like we would see the tri-bush, we would see the mid-bush, just way more seen by Team UNF. But the only vision UNF has right now is directly into the Dragon Pit, and the Dragon spawning in 50 seconds. I feel like that's something that is a result of UNF's support so often being swapped around. And while I'm talking, a fight is breaking out in the mid lane. We do see a wonderful encore come out from Amber Dragon, catch 3 members of Team Nebraska Esports. Olaf is torn through, big sheesh. I don't think he'll be finding another target. Mike Beeston gets a reset and takes the Olaf down. A triple kill goes on to UNF's own Jack Frost. Absolutely fantastic play by this Ahri. Obviously, a character he's quite comfortable on, a character he really knows. And while he may have been a little bit less comfortable in the laning phase, this is the phase of the game that the Smolder doesn't have as unique an impact on. So we do see the Jack Frost Ahri really thrive here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you saw what kind of allowed the fight to go in UNF's favor. Leona tried to solo ult Seraphine, who flashed out of it, and Leona had no ult for the team fight, which I think was a massive bait to help lead to that victory. And if Nebraska keeps making mistakes like that, UNF will be very on their way to a victory by the end of this, and they will leave 1-2 instead of 0-3. Honestly, this Smolder is not doing as much damage as I had expected. His passive seems to be a non-issue for UNF.
I do think that the Smolder into Garen is possibly the worst member of the worst matchup for Nebraska Esports. There really should be anyone else up there against the Garen. I think Wolf would struggle too, but I don't think it would be nearly as bad as sending their actual strong player into that sort of pit of hell. Anything that goes into this Garen should just get shredded and die, but Smolder is the character you want to get shredded and die the least. Once again, a fight happening in the mid lane. We see Wolf TP in on the Olaf, do his best to do anything, but in the end he does nothing and he gets taken down. He's just fodder for the Viego, and we will see Team UNF transfer from this fight into a Baron take. In the meantime, the jungler of Nebraska managed to take the first tier 1 in top lane. Just a little consolation prize, I suppose.
Well, given the way this game's going, I doubt that tower is going to make much of a difference.
Beats nothing.
It does for sure beat nothing. Mike Beeston might be cut out here with Ahri trying to save him with a charm, but Smolder catching him there and Gwen getting the shutdown. That is a big shutdown given that he was 13-2.
Absolutely not what you want to be doing here for the side of Team UNF, especially right after taking Baron. Just losing one of those Baron buffs is incredibly consequential, and especially losing 1,000 gold shutdown is significant, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
The Viego is really the main source of damage that Team UNF has here. I feel like the comp is really structured around letting the Viego shine, so having the Viego dead, Nebraska is really just able to confidently win the fights that they take, and I think that they're really aware of that. Considering they just took a fight in between the tier 2 and the tier 3 of Team UNF's mid lane. And they won it.
Yeah. And Nebraska does claim the tower bounty in mid, which is helping close that gap just a bit. Let's hope they don't close it too well, because I still want to have faith in UNF for taking this lead and running with it the best they can.
I think it's almost ironic, a little silly, a little sad that UNF was the team that took the Baron, but Nebraska was the team that took towers after that.
Yeah.
Since taking Baron, we've seen 2 towers go down on the side of UNF and 0 go down on the side of Nebraska. Big Sheesh is certainly trying his best here to take a tower and getting collapsed on by 3 members of Nebraska Esports, but he will not get caught out, nor will Jack Frost, though he's forced to use the Spirit Rush. In exchange, we get Ragnarok used out of Wolf on the Olaf, and there's sort of just a swarm of players in Nebraska's blue jungle in anticipation of this 5th Drake. Big Sheesh does get his flash used, and it looks like we will see the Garen go down here for Team UNF. He does not manage to use his Demacian Justice before he dies, which is, I think, a very, very significant mistake. Smolder does get charmed by Jack Frost, but does not take significant damage for it. Nick is caught out by Nuvia. Barely manages to live. Like Beastum gets a little excited at the sight of a very low Hagoromo, but just too overexcited and manages to go down. Team UNF just played that fight extremely poorly. The members were too excited for kills. I think they needed to play that a lot slower than they did.
I agree.
Additionally, their members were not well grouped. They got caught out. We saw them sort of trickle almost into the hands of Nebraska Esports, just dying one at a time. And then at the end, they got really quite desperate. It was really, really just poorly played.
Yeah.
And Nebraska was able to take very strong advantage of that. Nebraska takes yet another turret in the mid lane, collects the Drake, and previously at the start of this Drake, Nebraska was at a 4,000 gold deficit. They are now at a 1,000 gold deficit. I think this is where we're going to start to see Nebraska really turn this game around. If Nebraska wins this next fight, I think it's over for UNF. Like, obviously UNF can win fights, but if they're going to keep playing poorly, then they're not going to be winning these fights. They're not strong enough to make bad decisions and win.
For sure. Especially with Baron coming up soon, depending when Nebraska picks a fight, this could be even more horrible with the respawn timers overlapping with the Baron. Really good pick on the Kaisa from Team UNF in mid lane. And they're running it down, trying to get a few more picks here. Probably mainly the Smolder, since he's doing a little pushed up. Mike Beastum flashes in to try to catch the Gwen, but the Gwen dashes away from it and dodges it. And Gwen dashes into Amber Dragon's charm.
I think Team UNF is just a little bit too well grouped. The AoE spells from Nebraska Esports here are just too effective. Hagoromo deals insane damage that team fight. On top of the needlework thrown out by Gwen, Team UNF is, while not all completely damaged right now, it is enough to deter them, and we do see Mike Beastum go down. And once again, as that Mike Beastum on the Viego is the main combat engine for Team UNF, I do not believe we will be seeing them really try anything until he's back up. And it's quite unfortunate because he won't be back up until 5 seconds after the Baron spawned.
Yeah, and Nebraska seems to be keenly aware of how they're going to be posturing for Baron 2, and they're just trying their best to rush it, and they do get to claim Baron. And I expect them to be putting pressure on all the lanes like they've been doing all these other games. And really make the most out of this Baron. What I will say about that previous team fight is I want to applaud UNF on knowing when to cut their losses and get out of there. They lost Michael. They all turned around and booked it, and that's the only person they lost. And I feel like a constant issue that UNF has is kind of like overcommitting or getting a bit greedy and losing your position and losing your your angle and all that. But they seemed very collected. They knew when it was time to get out, and they did it, and they got out together. While I was saying all that, Garen did get picked in the bot lane while he was trying to split push. But I fear Gwen and Smolder is simply just too strong.
We do see Ragnarok getting used by Wolf in the top lane here, and as it's run out, I do think we might see him go down to both Mike Beeston and Jack Frost. And no, we do just get Mike Beeston cut down by a reckless swing. Wolf is just too strong at this point, too many stats for Team UNF to deal with. He flashes in and he cuts down Jack Frost as well, just with the swing of his stride breaker.
Yeah.
Absolutely excellent performance by Wolf. I think he really shined this game. I think obviously Hagoromo on the Smolder did really, really well in lane, but for how tough his lane was, Wolf did an absolutely fantastic job of playing his lane. He proxied, he was able to minimize his deaths. The Garen did get quite strong, but not strong enough to sort of become an issue. Wolf did get strong enough to become an issue despite the outrageous odds against him. I think he played extremely well that game, and I think he's a really significant reason as to why Nebraska Esports managed to win that third and final game.
That is true, but I feel like there was more that could have been done to counter that Olaf. Like when we saw that last fight that happened, the 1v2 in top lane where Olaf almost got killed, nobody had anti-heal there. Ari didn't, Viego didn't. When Seraphine showed up, she didn't either. And I feel like if just one of them had anti-heal, that totally could have gone their way and they would have killed Olaf. And it was that simple to just have anti-heal. They did have anti-heal, but only on the Braum, and I really just don't think that was enough for how the fights were going. I think they needed an anti-heal there. And that maybe he wouldn't have been as much of a carry, maybe the game could have gone better, maybe even a win. Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
It's been a wonderful time casting with you here. See you next week. I'll be heading out now.
Yep, bye, Finn. And for anyone still here, we're going to be interviewing Nick, actually, who was playing support now. I'll be on the way there now.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. So, tough games today, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, the games got better as they went. The first one was definitely the worst, and then you guys didn't struggle as much in the second game, and you guys had a solid lead in the third game. Were you guys kind of like reevaluating between games to compensate for what was going on there?
Yeah, well, the thing is, 3 of us were playing off-roll that game, or the series, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Michael was just trying to, like, we were just trying to, like, play what we thought we needed practice on, but I guess, like, I'm better at, like, Caitlyn is better at characters like Seraphine. Well, she's a good ADC, but, like, we decided to go Seraphine and Braum bot lane because that's probably what was best. We probably should have done that from the beginning, but no one was telling me what to do the whole time, so I got to pick my own character, which was a bad decision. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, other than the drafting you were just talking about, how do you feel about your performance and support? I know you usually play top lane.
Yeah, I mean, I do still play top lane. I don't know. I mean, I thought I was better at support. I mean, I haven't played support in years. But,
yeah.
I mean, it was fine. like I played Poppy, and it was just the range matchup of Doom, and then I don't even remember second game, to be honest. What I play? Brand? Yeah, that was
Yeah, you played
horrible.
Brand.
Like I just counterpicked myself with the Millie. I don't even know that was like an interaction. I didn't know that. Like whatever. And then Brown was fine. That's
Yeah.
when finally someone told me what to do, and I was like, yeah, that sounds right.
I mean,
And it works great.
that's kind of what these scrims are for, to have it being a learning experience. And
Yeah.
speaking of, how do you feel about Chris being in the top lane? I know he's new to you guys, and he's new to playing with the team. How do you feel he did? How do you feel he did in the team comp with what you guys are trying to do?
Chris is a great guy. He's a team player for sure. His champ pool is, I think I played on a couple times. It's getting bigger for sure, which is always good. That's like the goal, I guess. Is for the champ pools always get bigger and find out what works and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we don't really play like this is. I think it's the first time we played with Chris like as a full team, and it was fine. He played great. He played great on Garen, and I don't really remember what else he played, but he played great.
And in his first game, he played Malphite, and in his second game, he played
Malphite,
Warwick.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warwick was great. I mean, the Ambessa was like getting annihilated for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was a little surprised because I don't want
It's
to
a
be
super
offensive. It was like a mad stomp in the first game, and I was surprised how it was a complete 180 the second game.
Yeah,
that he turned it around.
Ambessa Warwick is very Warwick-sided. Like,
oh yeah,
super easy for. And he also plays Warwick. The Malphite was like a comfort pick, but it probably wasn't like. When I play top lane, we never pick Malphite on blue side ever, because he's very easily counterpicked. So
yeah,
we don't do that. But that's what he wanted, so it was not like we just kind of.
Yeah, you just kind of went with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it was the worst decision. I think the Malphite ended up turning out not the worst when you got out of laning phase. He had a lot of value when you guys were trying to fight the bot lane there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Malphite always has value. It's just hard, like, in lane sometimes, because he's kind of just, he's Malphite.
Yeah. And, yeah, like you mentioned, 3 of you are off-rolling today. Do you feel like because of that, you're not going to be taking as much from this as you normally would if you were on your main role?
I mean, I'm technically the backup support, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it is good practice. I guess I'm the backup. So I don't really know. I play support, I guess, when things go wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I think Caitlyn really likes, or Amber Dragon likes playing ADC a lot. The matchups were just really rough for the first 2 games. Because
yeah, they really were.
I don't know what's good bot lane at all. So I just didn't know what to do. And Caitlyn was like, play what you think is fun, and I don't necessarily care. So it was just like, I don't know. But I am always trying to get better. Like, I think my first time ever playing Braum was yesterday, and I feel like I played a lot better on him today.
I could not tell that this was your second day playing Braum.
Yeah, that's my second game on Braum in my whole life. So.
I couldn't tell. You were hitting some nice R's. You were definitely doing what you needed to do as Braum. So yeah. I applaud you there.
Thanks.
Yeah, and to kind of deviate from the scrims here, you guys also just played at CLOL this past weekend, right?
Yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah, you want to tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, we played against New Jersey, possibly was their team on Saturday, and we 3-0'd them. It was so fun. We all had a great time. So that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of hopes, and then we saw the team that we were playing against second. They had like a challenger and a grandmaster on their team, so we were pretty worried. But we took 1 game off of them.
Hey,
but
that's
we
something.
ended up losing. But we still ended up like 2-1 or 3-1 or something for like the whole thing. So we had like a bye round or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was great. I wish we could have gotten some casting on it. I know you guys are busy people, so it's okay. But I wish more people saw those games because those were good. Like when we played against that super good team, like I feel like there was a lot of like the first game was so close. It was like a bunch of really good matches against some pretty good people. Like I said, there's a challenger. There's a challenger tonight too. I don't know if you guys looked at the
Yeah, there was the mid laner. We saw
the
he
mid
hit
laner was
Peaks
challenger.
Challenger at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
No, but I mean,
I
it
don't
makes
know.
great practice. You're playing with someone who has insane mechanics and great game knowledge, and someone like that to
Hmm.
play against can really open your eyes on things you might not have even thought about while you're playing the game.
Yeah, I mean Tyler always gets to play against those people. I don't know what it is. He always gets the challenger play. I don't know why.
Everybody just wants to be Faker.
Poor guy. I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was funny.
I
Poor
mean,
guy.
is there anything else you want to say about today's games? Any specific comments you'd like to make? Any takeaways?
I mean, we're always trying to. I think like even if we're all off roll or whatever, like every single time we play, it's always really good practice. Like the Xin Zhao, I have to give props to Michael. He's not necessarily super comfortable in Xin Zhao, and he decided to lock it in and played great. And also Viego, who doesn't get to play that much, and he played great both games. So like even when we lose or we're doing like this weird off roll stuff, we're still trying our best to kind of practice and get better at those like uncomfortable characters. But no, I mean we're always fighting, pushing forward. We're gonna try our best always.
Yeah, and props to you. It's a struggle sometimes when you're struggling as much like you guys were today, where
Mm-hmm.
it definitely must have been demoralizing to feel like to get stomped so quickly the first game, to lose your lead so quickly that second game, but just sticking it through and going, you know what, I'm gonna lock in Braum, someone I'm uncomfortable with, you know what, I'm gonna lock in Xin Zhao, we're gonna get more practice on that. Like, it's props to you guys for just maintaining that mood and being like, we're in it, we're gonna try, we're gonna do our best, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
come out learning, come out stronger.
Yeah,
And
that's like the
yeah,
number one rule in our team. No one's allowed to no getting mad.
no mental
If
booming.
you get mad, we talk about it immediately.
Yeah,
Or at least I try to confront them because I hate when people get upset
I get
and
that.
we just sit there in silence and it's super awkward. Like, so we've been really like improving and on communication and stuff. Like it's been pretty important. We talked about it a lot. So
Yeah, I've also noticed in a
keeping
lot
our
of games, like for example, Tyler will like say things in chat at the beginning of the game to the enemy team, and it always seems like you guys try to keep like a positive, like you're still joking around even though you just got
yeah,
sweeped in
we're trying to have
25 minutes.
fun. Yeah, we're trying to have fun. Like even between games, we like joke around and stuff. Like I mean, at the end of the day, we are a team, but we're also really good friends too, which is the best part. Um,
Of course, and isn't that what you want in a team?
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I'm always friends first, and then we figure it out later because I think it makes it easier. But
No, yeah, for sure. Being on good terms with the people on your team really helps for like synergizing and trusting each other with calls and just going in and having each other's backs.
for
It's
sure.
for sure a big factor. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll keep on going. We have a PLC on Saturday. Are we streaming that? What's the deal? Do we know?
Um,
Probably not. It's like a long.
yeah, I mean, Gatorland is also happening this weekend, which you guys will also be
Yeah,
doing on that
yeah, that's
Sunday.
exciting. We'll have the real roster for Gatorland. The
Yeah,
roster will be playing at its efficiency at Gatorland, which will be fun.
yeah.
Um, you'll be there.
I
I
will be
can't
there.
wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say in terms of the casting, I can tell you that me and Finn won't be available since we'll be
Yeah.
there at Gatorland.
You'll be getting stuck. I'm ready to stomp Finn's butt into the ground.
You
I'm just
go have
kidding, I
fun
love
doing
him.
that. No, stomp his ass on the ground.
I love him.
You need to show him. You
Um,
need to show him what's what, because he likes being a little mean to the team sometimes. So you got to show him
no,
his place. You gotta show him who's
he's
boss
great.
here.
He's great. Everyone's great. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you've got nothing else to say, then thank you so much for coming here and letting me ask you some questions.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Anytime.
Yeah, no problem, man. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye. And thank you everybody else who showed up to watch the stream. Thank you so much for supporting the main UNF team. For anyone who missed the beginning of this, we usually upload this as a VOD to YouTube, so you can catch that. And we hope to see you guys next week when we stream again. And everyone have a good night.